Hello, my name is Mark Evans, manager of NetSuite Strategic Solutions at Bryant Park Consulting. Today, I want to walk you through Bryant Park's solution for co-products and byproducts. It is a fact that many production processes yield more than one finished good. Yet natively, a NetSuite work order has one assembly item assigned to it, and there's no good way to represent the fact that that work order produced multiple finished goods. Inventory adjustments for the secondary items work, but are really complicated in terms of doing accurate costing. It's not the native process because there's this additional manual step that's required, and you don't have visibility into what products are actually going to become available and when. So the Bryant Park solution is meant to support the production of multiple finished goods, but in a way that is totally intuitive and native and works the way that the NetSuite production process is going to work without any additional handling once configured. So those finished goods might be the primary item, the item listed on the work order. You have to produce that. But in addition, you could also produce secondary items or co-products. If I'm butchering a chicken, I'm going to yield breasts, which might be the primary item, but I also might get thighs, legs, wings, what have you. Those would be co-products. I could also generate byproducts, which are not necessarily intended items that are coming out of the process, but it's still inventory with value that I might be able to resell or reuse. And also, some production processes yield different grades of the finished good. All of these can be supported with the Bryant Park solution for co-products and byproducts. And going beyond what an inventory adjustment approach does gives you visibility into as to what is going to be available and when. It allows a great deal of control over how you allocate labor overhead and component costs to the various finished goods. It's not a one size fits all solution. You can down to the item and component level, for example, you can dictate how those costs are burdened. And also it fits in totally natively, which I would like to show you now. So here I have a work order to produce a sauce, a pasta sauce, if you will. And I have already done the issuances and some completions on this particular work order. It's worth noting that you can accrue issuances and completions just like you would in any other production process. The co-product byproduct solution only kicks in when you complete the last step of the work order. And you'll see here, I have issued quantities that don't 100% align with the bill of material. So our solution is going to respond to the reality of the production process, not just a script or a recipe that we use going into the production process. So as I mentioned before, I have already done the completions for steps 10 through 50. And in that way, I have accrued. I did this in two completions. In reality, you could do one completion per operation step. You could have multiple completions per operation step. Whatever your process requires, that is fine. Those costs are going to accrue. And then when we do the final completion, that is when the solution kicks in. And we can see that if I come into the native completion screen, I am going to indicate here that I'm doing the final step. I'm going to produce 102 liters, not the 100 that was originally on the work order. And again, totally natively, I am going to produce a lot number for the sauce, the intended item. If I had scrap, I could record that, of course. I am going to proceed. And this is where the solution kicks in. So what you are going to see on the next screen is a place where we will record the inventory detail for not the primary item, because that has already been recorded, but instead all of the secondary items that are tied to this work order. So here we can see there's the sauce that we intended to produce. There's the 102 liters and the detail that we provided on the native completion. Now below what I have are the secondary items tied to this work order, the intended quantities, And now I record what was actually produced and inventory detail for it. It is possible to say, I didn't yield this coproduct on this particular run, and a 0 would be perfectly acceptable. I will go ahead and produce some quantity compared to what was intended and submit. From here, the solution will take over. It will allocate those costs and produce all of the items based on the inventory detail that I've provided. In this way, you have total lot traceability. You are not losing any of the history through this process. You will know exactly what components were used in the production of all of the finished goods, so on and so forth. Once that job is complete, you will also have the ability to see what costs were originally accrued. In this case, I had $1,598, and how those costs were then spread to the various work orders upon completion. So that is a very quick overview of how the solution works, but hopefully you can see the great power in this and how it plugs into a normal manufacturing process without the need to remember to go back, do complicated math, figure out how to allocate your costs, do inventory adjustments. In this way, it just plugs in. If you would like to learn more, or if you have any questions or would like to see a more in-depth demo, please reach out at solutionsinquiry@bryantparkconsulting.com. I look forward to hearing from you.